All right, so I just came across this channel, KM Little Academy, and his post was, I DoorDash 84 hours homeless. How much did I make? So after watching the video, what I've noticed is that he didn't make anything. Yeah, he did take home a certain amount of money, but did he actually make money from what he did? The main issue with a lot of the YouTubers and just drivers in general is that they don't know their cost per mile. Okay, you have miles per gallon on your odometer. You take your miles per gallon and you divide that by the cost of your gas. So if you paid $3.20 for your gas this week, your cost is going to be different from last week. It's going to be different day to day. It's going to be different week to week. Is what as far as your cost per gas. You also have to look at your depreciation and also your time. So all of this comes in as a value. For me, it's $1.40. I have to redo it, but I think this week it was $1.45, $1.48 is what my cost was. And here's the thing, like, he's doing multiple apps, and all I do is Lyft as of right now. I do also do Grubhub, but I mainly only do Lyft. Now, the guy also said he cherry pick, and he came out to, I think, $22 an hour is what he was making when he divided everything up. But as you can see, for me, it's $44.25, and this is just one app. And I think he did like 18, I can't remember. No, I'm sorry. He did 84 hours, and he made $1,800. And as you can see, I did 36 hours and 48 minutes driving Lyft. And for this week, well, last week, I made $1,282. Did I actually make $1,282 when we look at my gas expenses around $45 a day, which comes up to $315? Now, every day I didn't stay out and drive, 12 hours a day. And as you can see, by this particular week, when you look at the chart here, you can see that Saturday I didn't work, and that's because I got deactivated. And then I have days like Monday and Tuesday where I made less than 120, and then the rest of the week I did fairly good. But most of this money came from, I'm going to show you right here, down here in driver stats. Most of this money, it came from, I'm sorry, let me go over here to earnings. Most of the money ended up coming from bonuses. And just so I can go to weekly breakdowns, and I'll show you exactly what I made in bonuses, which every week is different. I'm going to show you that this week that I'm in currently, I don't have any bonuses. So down here in the earnings, you can see that I made the total of $874. But when I go down to the total earnings again, it's showing that the bonuses for this particular week was $740. So when you look at the ride earnings, $499. Now, the thing is that it's showing that I did 104 rides. 104 rides, and all I made was $499 off of that. But luckily that this particular week had bonuses. Otherwise, I would have did a lot less rides, and I would have made less money. But again, looking at the total miles that I was actually booked, it's 541 miles. So I made over $2 a mile last week. But also, as I said before, that it was last week. So in this particular week, let me go forward. I haven't driven any, and as you can see, it's Tuesday. But when I come out of here and I go to look at my bonuses that I have, as you notice, they're not showing any opportunities until Saturday. And then they're showing one on this next Monday. And so there's no bonuses this week. So I haven't been online. It's Tuesday. I didn't drive any yesterday. I didn't drive any today. And I don't plan on driving the rest of this week. If there are no bonus hours, why should I drive knowing that at the end of the week, off of 100 rides, all I'm going to make is, I'm going to make less than $500. Like, it's absolutely pointless. But to go back into what he's breaking down, and you can look at the video yourself by going to his page, he didn't make any money. He's claiming that, yeah, he made $1,800, but you have to look at how many miles you put on your car, your depreciation, the cost of gas. You also have to put in an amount that you need to set aside on a daily basis for repairs, which all of these things are your losses. It's your losses. And so ultimately, yeah, what you take home may seem good. You may seem really happy about it. But in all actual aspect of it, at the end of the day, if your car is a throwaway, then yeah, maybe you're making money. Now I'm going to turn down the volume, and I'm going to show you something that I seen in the video. I don't want to play anything on the video, but I'm going to just show you. So what I was pointing at, what the arrow was pointing at on there, was the headliner. The headliner of his vehicle is sagging. And that might be why he doesn't drive maybe Lyft and Uber. You know, I don't know if he's just working food apps or if he does drive Lyft or Uber, but they wouldn't be aware of his headliner sagging like that. It's water damage. It's saggy. And so, again, I'm not knocking the dude or anything like that. That's not the point that I was bringing. The point that I was bringing out is that you have to cover your cost. And at some point, he may have tried to clean the headliner, and now it's sagging because the adhesive on the padding under the carpet has loosened up, and so now his headliner is dropping down, and it costs really good money to try to get that to get back up there. He can put certain things into the roof of the car to try to get it to stay up and everything. But again, what I'm trying to point out, and I'm hoping he does look at this video if I post it, is that you're not making what you think that you're making, because you're losing value in your vehicle. You can't spend every last dime that you have. No company, no business does when they have expenses. Even if you just have a 9-to-5 job, you don't want to spend all your money because your car could break down. You may need to get a rental, whatever the case is. But I really want to urge the guy to really pay close attention, because you need to bring what you're making on an hourly basis. You need to bring that up to at least $38 to over $40 per hour so that you can be profitable. And focusing on multi-apping, a lot of people think that that's the best way to go and everything, but that's not how the algorithm won't allow you to do it. That's what I think a lot of drivers don't understand. And I'm not sure if this guy really knows, as well as other drivers even know, that multi-apping is for different busy hours. You don't want to multi-app during busy hours with multiple apps. So meaning that you're driving DoorDash and Uber and both have busy hours. You can, but you're only going to end up accepting 2 rides. One ride from Uber and one order from DoorDash, because they're paying drivers by the hour. See, they tell you that, you get paid $2.50 per ride, and $2.50 per delivery, and Uber has a base fare and all of this other little things. But the thing is that you'll have a passenger right down the street from you. Right down the street, there's a passenger from you, but you won't get that ride, because that particular hour is drivers can only make 18. So that means that if you're at 12 and it's like 20 minutes into the hour, you're already at $12. It's an $18 an hour. That means with the ride that they give you is going to be long distance pickup or long distance drop off into an area where there are no good rides. So that means you're going to have to travel backwards. So they're going to minimize what you can make in an hour. I remember when I first figured this out, it was when I was I was delivering for DoorDash. And I picked up an order, and when I got to the residence to drop the order off, another car pulled up behind me. I get out the car, I seen another DoorDasher get out the car. And they, and I was like, hey, what, because it was a duplex. And I asked them, I was like, hey, who you delivering to? And they said the name, and it was the exact same name as mine. And I said, apartment, and then he was like, yeah. And I was like, I wonder why they just didn't send both of the orders to just one of us. And they was like, yeah, I wonder the same thing and everything. I was like, well, how much they tip you? And then he told me, and then I told him how much they tipped me, and I didn't think nothing of it. And it wasn't until, I would say, months later that it hit me what was really going on in that scenario, because it happened multiple times. Also, when I've ordered food and items off of DoorDash, I've had different drivers, and I had tipped on both orders, my food order, and I tipped on the store order. But different drivers actually made the delivery, which pissed me off because now I had to open up my door twice and my food came first. So I had to stop eating to open up for my Dollar General order that came in. I didn't like that as a customer, but like I said, all of these things is stuff that I figured out later on. And again, these apps are paying you by the hour. Your bonuses are going to be based off of how you progress the previous weeks. So let's just say you drove during Lyft or Uber during busy hours, a few weeks ago. Well, now this current week, you're going to go and drive for them. And when you drive for them, your bonuses are going to be corresponding to the days of that particular week that you drove during busy hours where they overcharge passengers. These apps are moving around the money. That's what it is. They're moving around the money. And a lot of people, they think that the apps are stealing money. It's kind of one of those catch-22 things where maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Maybe they're using the tip money from your delivery to incentivize another driver to drive further, or to deliver someone's food, or to pick up a passenger. Either way it goes, it's still stealing from an individual, but is it stealing from the pool? No, it's not stealing from the pool. The money's still in the pool. They're just choosing to move the money around to incentivize people to give rides or to do certain deliveries. Now, like I said, I'm not debating that whether they're stealing or not. I'm saying it's a possibility that they're just moving the money around, and that they're not really actually, in their sense, they're not stealing the money. In our sense, it is. If I earn the tip, I earn the tip. But when you're dealing with forward delivery, where the tip is already placed on the app before you even did the delivery, nobody knew who was going to be delivering their food. Nobody even knew if they were going to be given the food and everything. So in essence, the way these apps look at it, well, it's not really your tip. It's not like, when you go to a restaurant, the waitress services you and then tips you, and then you know that you earned that money, and whatever tip they gave you is basically because you earned it. Honestly, I don't think that's why people should tip. They should be tipping because your service is cheaper than what it could be if it wasn't for tips. And now the restaurant has to charge you for labor costs to service your table. So now your bill is $10 more than what it would be if you have control over what you believe someone is servicing you should make. So I'm going to play the video just to show the full amount that he made in 84 hours this particular week. I just want to take the volume down so I don't get any type of issues with recording this. So just to go back a little bit, it was showing that he made this particular week, it was $1,861.47. And that is in 84 hours. I think that was between all of the apps that he was driving for is what he made. And he average that out to around, I think it was $22 an hour. Again, that's not even worth it. So $1,861 divided by 84 is $22. If he had a regular job making $18 an hour, time and a half, he would be making $27. And if he did 40 hours doing that, he would have made $1,080. And so if you look at just $18 an hour times 40, then that would mean that he would be making $1,080. With time and a half, he would be making $1,800. That's without losing value inside of his own car. So hopefully the guy looks at this video and he sees this, because you would be making the same amount of money working time and a half at a job without losing any value in your car, without doing any more miles. So if it took you 10 miles to get to work, and you say you're homeless, you're living in your car, you're not going to travel that far away from your job to find a place to sleep at. So if you're driving 9 miles to work, and 9 miles to 9 miles to work, 1 mile somewhere to sleep, then maybe leave, and let's just say all in all that particular week, you're only looking at putting maybe 30, let's just average that out, about 40, 50 miles in your car without losing any value in your car. And you're going to be able to only have to fill up your gas tank maybe once a month, two times a month at the most, because you're homeless, right? And so just having a job and working time and a half, especially if you find somewhere like Amazon, who lets their drivers drive 12 hours a day, and you get to pick up overtime. And so again, if you're doing that, I'm going to just bring up the numbers right now. So if you're driving 12 hours a day times 7, that's $84. So buddy, you could be driving for Amazon and using their truck and driving for 84 hours, and depending on what market you're driving in, they may be paying $19, $20 something an hour, and you're not losing value, but you're making the same amount of money. So this is one of the things that these apps don't understand. Us making $22 or $30 an hour is not worth it. It's not worth it, because we're at risk of getting, if you're doing food delivery, you're at risk of getting chased or bit by a dog. You won't have to worry about that clocking in at a facility. You have to worry about passengers or when you're delivering food, someone macing you, stabbing you, carjacking you, robbing you. There was one driver that was doing Uber Eats. Old guy, retired, got snatched in somebody's house and they chopped up his body. You have a lot more dangers out here than that. Not only that, but you also should carry additional insurance coverage because you're using your vehicle for work. So that's also a loss too that a lot of drivers are not even talking about. So all I'm basically saying is, when it comes down to this young brother, you're not making more than you would be making at a normal job. And the only, with you being homeless and living out of your car or whatnot, and trust me, brother, I'm doing the same thing. All my stuff is in storage. All of my stuff is in storage. And I'm living in my car. Now, my son's mother, she's like, oh, you can come live here anytime. And everything, no, it's not a relationship type deal or whatnot, but she doesn't want me out on the street or living in my car, and it's wintertime right now especially. But however, I'm looking at these apps and I'm like, man, at the end of the day, it isn't worth it. It's not compared to going to a job and going in and working. And so why am I doing this, and why am I not going to a normal job? Well, I have sciatic nerve damage on both sides of my back. It's common for people to develop sciatic nerve damage, but that's on one side. It's not on both sides. That's one. Number two, my case is severe. Whenever I have a flare-up, I literally cannot walk or drive. And at my old job, it took me about 2 or 3 hours between getting out of bed, getting to my car, and getting into my job. Because it would take me at least 20, I'd have to say about 30, 40 minutes to get out of my car and into the facility I was working in. And I have not had a flare up in the past few years that I've been driving for these apps. And so I'm actually scared of going out and getting a job where I go to a facility. I'm scared that I'm going to have a flare up and I can't work and I get fired. I'm scared of a flare up happening, period, because of the amount of pain that I'm usually in whenever I'm doing a normal, I guess you would call a normal job, clock in, clock out. And so there are a lot of people who have mental issues, a lot of people who have physical issues, and it's just hard to be, at work and dealing with different personalities and everything like that. And you're scared of snapping on people. It can still happen doing rideshare. It can still happen. It can still happen doing food delivery. You get people that, I see you can just come here whenever you want to. Wait, huh? They don't know that, you accepted the order 20 minutes ago. And you had to drive to the restaurant, wait for the food, pick it up, and then drop it off. Or that a couple of drivers, it switched between a couple of drivers. And, and they're pissed off because they're getting their food cold. And it's not your fault. You did what you were supposed to do. And this is not a job. It's a side hustle. Some of us just have made it into a job. But the general public don't really follow the drama that's going on with DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Postmates, Uber, Lyft, and so forth. They don't really follow what a lot of the drivers are going through, what we deal with, and what we're being paid, and everything. So, again, like I said, when it comes down to this brother right here, I mean, if you feel like what you made was good money and it was profitable, then kudos to you. That's cool. If you're, if you own your own car, okay, cool. You're not making payments on it, and if you're not going to, if you're a mechanic, you know how to fix on cars. That's cool. You don't have to worry about labor. But we want to make sure that people in the community understand that what's profit, what's not profit, what is a loss, and everything. So, like I said, in his particular case, I'm going to go and look at the video again to see how many miles he actually put on his car. Okay, I kind of get what he's saying, but what he just said right here, it really dilutes. He messed up. What he said what he made, the $1,860 whatever dollars, that he basically, he said that it's not taxable. We're 1099. It is taxable. It's just that they are not taking taxes out now. You have to file your taxes. You're going to owe money back at the end of the year. So again, with the $1,800 that he made, if I relate that to what I used to pay in taxes when in my last job, when I would make $1,800, after the $1,800 after taxes, I was taking home around 12. Also, I did have child support coming out. So the average person taking home around 14, maybe 1,500. So he owes money. He owes money on the tax end. State, federal, city taxes, what he owed. He's just not paying it now, but he's gonna have to pay it in the long run.
A good number. $1,900 for 84 hours. I would say that's good. It's not taxable. Now, how much I spent in gas?
See right there, not taxable. Yeah, buddy. I think that was just an error on his end. He didn't mean to say that, and what he really meant is that tax is not coming out now. I got the money up front. Is what I guess he's trying to say. But you're gonna have to pay taxes, so that's why I'm having a hard issue with understanding where he was going with that and how whether he really meant it that way or whether was it a mistake. But just in case he does see this video, you are going to have to pay taxes on the money that you made. And I think you know that. But if you didn't know it, now you do know. But again, anybody in the community is probably, they heard that and they're trying to make sense of it. I think he meant this or he meant that. But we never really know if people are not knowing what somebody really knows or what they really believe and everything. So he's showing it. I guess he spent $35 a day. And so his gas cost is $2.45. After this, he's going to show what he took home after gas. And again, that goes back into what I said before. It's not what you actually took home. So again, you can see up here, he's showing that he believes his take home was $1,616 after the $2.45 in gas. But buddy, you still have to take away your taxes and your taxes is coming out of the entire amount that you made. So you made 18 something. And so at the end of the day, they're going to take around about $500-600 off of that with city, state, and federal tax. And then, especially if you are paying and also paying insurance costs, if you have child support being taken or that you have to pay and everything. So at the end of the day, yeah, he's making somewhere around $900 to $1,100 is what he really is making based off of this particular week. You have to think also about your deductions. So the general public, the people that really look at this video, that are looking for an alternative job or a hustle replacement, whatever the case is, they're not gonna look at anything other than gas costs as well. And so they're gonna end up being screwed by the time that they really realize what their true cost is in doing this. All right, right here, he's showing that the total miles that he drove was 1,156 miles and 84 cents. 1,156 miles, 0.84, right? So 1156. Now, like I said, my cost that I figured my cost was, it was around $1.45. So if I look at that, he did 1,156 miles, and I multiply that by my cost, which is 145, then that my cost to do the miles that he did, 1,156 miles multiplied by $1.45, my cost would be at $1,676. So he said he made $1,800. So that would means that I would have only made $24 based off of what his numbers were. I would have only made $100 and something after costs. That would be gas, miles per gallon. Also my cost as far as my time. If I average out what my time should be, what I should be making on an hourly basis and everything, which is $1.45 per minute. It takes 3 minutes to drive a mile and everything. So again, it goes back into what I was saying, is knowing your cost will allow you to know whether this thing is worth it or if it's not worth it. If you're only driving when there are bonuses, if you're driving like Grubhub or whatever, only driving when there's promotions, same thing with Uber, then you're going to make a little bit more money than usual that particular hour. So if you're usually making around 22, you may make around 30 something. You may balance out to 40. It depends on what kind of bonuses they're giving you on those apps. And like I said, earlier in this video, like today's Tuesday, and usually, last week I had a whole lot of bonuses. And as you can see for this week, up to Saturday, even all the way to Monday, to the 23rd. Today is the 17th, all the way to the 23rd. I don't have nothing but 3 opportunities. Meaning I only have, and they're not showing any bonus hours or anything. It's just a couple of rides that were scheduled that is on the on an itinerary that I could pick up those times or drive during those events. But outside of that, if I drive, I'm gonna be making normal pay. And I'll show you. Well, I was trying to bring it up and show, but it's just loading right now. But I was trying to show you how much they normally pay on these rides. You know what? Since I can't see what what they pay me out on previous rides, I'm gonna log on right now and wait for a ride request, and I'll be able to show you. And what you're gonna notice, okay, so that right there, 5.7 miles, 14 minutes of time, $5.16. So no, I'm not gonna take that. I'm not gonna take any rides right now, but I'm basically trying to show you the total miles. And remember, my cost is $1.45 per mile. So I would have took a loss on that ride. I wouldn't have actually made anything on that ride. The map just updated. All of the bonuses were showing like all the way over here. And it's so, because I'm sitting here and I'm waiting. Now all of a sudden the bonus area just came over to me. And so they're offering me another bonus on the next ride. It's weird because as you can see, I'm like on the border of that bonus area, and normally they normally won't even give you the bonus until like I'll get over here. Once I get over there, then they would offer me, a bonus or whatnot. Okay, so zooming in, even where I'm at right now. Usually, a lot of times, it's not until I get to the darker part of the area, which would be across this line over into this area, that they'll start offering me an extra dollar on it. Normally, when I'm touching it where it's really light purple, they're not offering me a bonus. But 9 out of 10, there's probably not a lot of drivers in this area. Normally, there aren't many drivers over here this far west. Drivers usually, most of the ride requests are normally over in this area here. Over here to the east on the right. So all this area here is where rides are usually at. It's usually not a lot of rides over in this area. It's not a lot of rides up here by the border. And when you start to go over to the right, to the bottom right, across that water, it's not a lot of rides. Literally, the rides usually stay, the most amount of rides that you're going to get is going to be over in this area here. That's where you're going to get the most amount of rides. But you get riders that are going all the way out in different areas and whatnot. So again, you can take those rides, but your pickup distance is gonna get longer when you leave outside of those areas. That's why when I accept a ride, I usually go offline. It's gonna suck because the way what I know is that your bonuses, your bonus hours, are based off of what rides you did, usually what rides you did the corresponding week from the month before. So week 1 of the month before, I'll get the bonuses week 1 of the month afterward for that particular week. So meaning if I drive during busy hours, and I'm going to show you, if I drive during busy hours where they're overcharging passengers on any given day, during these hours here, if I'm doing rides, then that's going to accumulate bonuses for me the following month. Now look at this right here. Going out of state, 40.8 miles, total of 43.8 miles, only $38 for that, over an hour trip. Now I know some people are like, well, it's only an hour trip and it's 40 something miles. You could have did that. Now this one, now the passenger where they're traveling to be paid $6.09 for 7-minute drive, 2.1 miles, that's fine. But I'm actually putting 6.1 miles on my car. The passenger doesn't care about how many miles I have to drive to pick them up. They don't care about that. And so I'm taking that loss doing that pickup. Now, they're offering me more money than usual for that ride. Like if I was closer to that passenger, that they would have only offered me $3 to do that ride. They would have only offered me $3 to give that ride to that passenger if I was closer to them. Now, two reasons why they offer more than $3 for that ride. Number one, the drivers near that passenger declined the ride. Most drivers will tell you they won't accept any rides that is less than $5 per for that ride. And so that person traveling 2.1 miles, all the drivers near them were declining it. They were declining it because they're like, no, I'm not about to do this for $3. So now I'm further away, and now they're going to offer me more money. That, to me, it doesn't make any sense. If I'm close to the passenger, you should be offering me good money so I can hurry up and pick up that passenger. But you don't want to offer me good money to pick up that passenger. You want to offer what I would take to another driver that's further away. And they say that they're paying us for pickup whenever the passenger is further away. I want all drivers to know this. They're lying. They're lying. They have always paid more money to drivers. Now, this particular instance, you got 9.3 miles. You're looking at 23 minutes of drive time for that particular ride. That's not bad considering what they normally pay for that ride. But outside of that, look at this one right here. They want me to put 9.1 miles on my car, 20 minutes of time for $7.16. So that will put me at $21.48, which is what it was showing at the bottom. One reason why I wouldn't take that is because the passenger rating was a 4.4. That's the first thing I look at the rating that the passenger has. Now, on this particular one, they want me to put 8.7 miles on my car, 20 minutes for $7.10.